Hello, hello everybody. This is Warlord 12, and today I need to talk about this black appropriation stuff, or historical appropriation, what have you. I need to really talk about this because this is getting ridiculous and out of hand. So the whole thing with, black people, they're not Egyptians, or Egyptians are not black people, or whatever it is, that people are talking about. You know, Egyptians are black. Now, what I mean by Egyptians are black, I'm not talking about they have the same culture, but what I am saying is that Egyptians are aboriginal, just like how black people are aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? They're both aboriginal. That's a fact. I have to bring this up because I'm going to bring up a lot of other examples of this. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what this whole thing has to do with? It has to do with pride. The reason why people it's just like in Jamaica, right? How they'll say, "Oh, I'm not black, I'm Jamaican." You know what I'm saying? I understand some people. It has to do with you know what they of course what other people believe or whatever it is for what they are. But I know for a fact a lot of it when people say or for instance, if someone who's Chinese says, "Oh, I'm not Japanese," or if a Japanese says, "I'm not Chinese," some of it has to do with pride. Like, "Oh no, I'm not that. I'm not a part of that. That's not my DNA." It's like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's the case all the time, but usually it's because of pride that they don't want to admit what they really are. You know what I'm saying? And I had enough of it, and I need to speak up about this stuff. So, like I said, for my examples, right? How Chinese and Japanese, they're the same thing, right? But obviously, they just have two different cultures. It's just like in high school, how you all have your little groups. It's kind of like that. Like same thing, like I said about Jamaicans also being Aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, black people are Aboriginal. Jamaicans are Aboriginal. They just have two different cultures. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? People wonder why people really get upset. Or usually for people to get upset when you call a Jamaican black, right? Or if you call an Egyptian black, they're gonna get upset because of pride. I know this for a fact because I've grown up knowing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or here's another good example. Like Bloods and Crips, right? They're black, right? But they're fighting over something petty. It's the same thing with Japanese and Chinese people. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all Japanese people don't like Chinese people or all Chinese people don't like Japanese people. But it's like the same thing with pettiness. You know what I'm saying? You're the same, but you're still fighting with each other. You know what I'm saying? Or how about in Rome, right? What were they fighting over? Back then they were fighting over colors. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but I also mean what I mean by colors. All I mean colors that you would wear similar to blues and reds. But what I'm saying, in that time, that's what people were fighting over. People making wars over color. Do you get what I'm saying? This stuff needs to stop. The only reason why I'm bringing this up, because people really want to act like they know that, oh, no, it's just Japanese or it's just black. And I really needed to say this. Because people want to sit here and make all these videos, right? And want to say stuff like, "Oh, it's blackwashing." It's not blackwashing. Egyptians are black. It's a fact. You can go do your research and history on that. They're Aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm glad I'm a YouTuber, because this is the main reason why I made this video, because I've just seen that a lot of YouTube videos or videos in general, it's just biased towards, it's just like a bunch of bandwagoners. They're just believing the same thing. they think they know what they're talking about, when it comes to culture and all that stuff. And it's just like, you do know that Egyptians are black, right? You do know that they're Aboriginal, right? I had to say something about it because it's getting way out of hand now, especially with this blackwashing stuff. And I'm gonna say this about the person who's playing Cleopatra. Now I put it this way: if I understand if the person is, how should I say it? When we talk about, excuse me, when we talk about portrayal, right? I understand if they weren't using the right hairstyle that the person was supposed to be using for an Egyptian back then, or let's say makeup or face paint or what have you. Like fine, but I started seeing how people are getting upset just because they said that Egyptians are black. It really needs to stop, man. It really does. And like I said, people don't want to accept this because of pride. That's one of the main reasons. Now I understand some people, it's just that they haven't done research, or they just don't believe it, or they just don't think that that's what it is. Either way, I'm not going to argue with you, obviously, but I really needed to make this video because enough is enough with this stuff, man. Enough is enough with some of the lies that people will tell you about this stuff. It's time that someone tells the truth. And you know what? What I'm saying right now, there's a lot of people out there who have been saying it. You know why some people haven't been saying this stuff in public? Of course, because they don't want to go to war with someone. They don't want to get in a fight with someone. That's like the only reason why people don't talk about this stuff in public. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. Oh, a matter of fact, and I need to say this because the person that I know about from my school when I was growing up in high school, I had a teacher that was Chinese, right? And even she was sitting down she was talking to someone about subject that's similar to this. Even she was saying that Chinese and Japanese people are the same. If a Chinese person is telling you this, right? You're really gonna sit here and tell me that they're not the same? When a Chinese person will actually admit something like this? And she's a teacher, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I really just don't get it. Like to a certain degree, I get why people will get upset about it, but at the same time, it's like, sooner or later you're gonna have to, accept the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's really all I can say about that. But I need to say as well, though, about like with that teacher who's Chinese who said this. Even when, even when I wasn't even thinking about what she said, I already still knew for myself that, what I'm saying, that Chinese and Japanese were the same. You know what I'm saying? And I already knew that, Jamaicans were already black. I already knew they were the same. I already knew they were Aboriginal. Same thing with Egyptians being Aboriginal. Or being black. You know what I'm saying? I already knew this stuff. But like I said, for someone who's Chinese, who has to tell you this, that should say something already. If someone, who is Chinese has to say something like that, that should say something. That should speak volumes. Because there are some people that don't want to admit this stuff. It needs to stop. What I mean by pride, I'm not talking about Pride Month. I'm talking about the sin, actual pride. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the embodiment of pride itself. That's what I'm also talking about. So you know what I'm talking about. Well, other than that, this is Warlord 12, and I'm out. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Either way, have a nice day, have a nice night, and I'm out.